Hello, 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 and welcome to Sky Tour Livestream. It's I, Mark D'Antonio, and I'm on a different setup tonight because I'm actually still out in Mesa, Arizona. Just got back from California from the Contact in the Desert event. So I'm going to do what I needed to do the other day, which I didn't get to do with you, and that was to live stream the event. So I'm going to stream what we did last time tonight. So that'll be kind of cool. So people saw what I'm about to show you. I don't know why I had trouble, but I couldn't bring anybody in. I couldn't stream. I was getting errors on the stream, probably due to the Wi-Fi problem there. Although I was using what was supposed to be a very, very clean internet line. So the people that were there, they got to see a wonderful show. The people that weren't did not. And I was really looking forward to streaming it. So we'll do this next time. I may get invited back for all I know. I think that's possible. But welcome, everybody. Daryl's unable to come in, not because of him. I didn't even tell him, actually, we were streaming, unfortunately. But he... I can't hear him with the setup I have here. In fact, I know I've got music playing right now, but I can't hear that either. So I'm just endeavoring to keep the music volume a little bit lower, just to make it a little bit easier for everybody who's listening. And I'm turning up my volume a little more now. So, my voice is about shot, but you know what? I don't care. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep trying. I'd like to show you a few things, show you what we did. So this guy right here is this beautiful galaxy. It's called the Southern Pinwheel. And I want to, first of all, say hello to those that came here. I'm glad that you guys have joined us. We have Renee Cruz has come in. That's nice. Michael Hedrick's with us. Alice Pooper. Papa Tom. Calabos. Hey, I got to give special kudos to Calabos and Tiffany. At the Contact in the Desert event, I did 3 lectures. And in all 3 lectures, Calabos and Tiffany made sure that we were giving away a telescope, a full telescope system, or a pair of binoculars. In my first lecture, we gave away a pair of binoculars. In my second lecture, a whole telescope. In the third lecture, a whole telescope. So show them some love. They are just phenomenal people, and I told them so many times. I cannot say enough about Mike, who's Calabos, and Tiffany. My all dear thanks goes out to them. They are incredible people. So that said, I hope you folks are actually ready for some fun. We're going to have a little fun tonight. Our first event up for bids here on the Galaxy is Right is this one. This is the southern Pinwheel, as I mentioned. It's a really, really pretty galaxy. And if we look where it's located, we look in our planetarium here, and it's here. And if we zoom out, you can see that's right around the southern horizon, and it's tantalizingly just above Omega Centauri. But Omega Centauri is too far below our ability to view. There is something else though right here, and this guy is Centaurus A. Now, I imaged this for the first time the other night, and it did have a little bit of the building in it, but we'll try it again, all right? Centaurus A is a beautiful galaxy that has a very, very prominent dark band of dust across the center. Just incredible. I'm going to make note of this one. This is the southern Pinwheel. You can see some tremendous detail in that, which is so nice. Some Pinwheel, and that's a galaxy. I also want to mention to Isabella, who may or may not be here yet, if she gets here at all. I didn't tell anyone I was going to stream because I wasn't sure I was going to. But I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that Isabella has been creating this amazing app for us that we're going to try and make available on iPhone and Android. It's already something we can supply on the PC, and it's or the Mac, and it allows you to look through every single observation we ever made of any object we've ever done for several years in a row. So it covers from 2021 to 2024, and it's incredible. Isabella has done a phenomenal job in keeping the data up to date. In fact, I was looking at the app the other day. I had streamed, and boom, all the things I did the previous night were in the app already. So it's really cool. So I think that's neat. And I see that Calabos is in our chat, as is Tiffany Echo. And Mr. Django in Belgium, is here. And I want to say hi to you as well. Nice to see you guys. And it was quite a good conference. I got to speak with many people. And I had this incredible experience where a very smart quantum physics guy listened to what I had to say about my my discussions of Kaluza-Klein gravitons and the fifth dimensional travel methodology that my friend Bob Schroeder championed, and I also now champion. And he said it was the best lecture he heard in the entire conference. I was blown away by that, and I was humbled because it was such a nice thing to say. Incredible. So I will be leaning over here to read chat and so forth. So let's see here. Okay, hey, Two Rivers is with us. How you doing? Stream is not frozen. I'm still here. Okay, if it's frozen, then perhaps you might want to refresh, because I am still going strong as far as I can tell. I'm going to go look at it right now just to make sure. It looks live to me. So everybody else, just chime in if you see anything different. Please let us know. That's kind of important. Yeah, no, it's cranking away. So I believe that I believe we're doing well here. Everything's fine. Okay, so we have a good stream going here. If you're getting some buffering or something like that, do refresh the screen. All right. So I want you to try that stand at Two Rivers. Michael Galea, how you doing? And Ronald, ERRT Radio. I have to say, we bought all the equipment for the other observatory, and it's set up right here behind me, and I've been testing it with the new server that makes this run, and it is smooth, it is beautiful, it's incredible, and this is going to be a step up, I think, in how we run things. Now, currently, we use this program up there, you see, and we use these cameras, and we use this guy right here, this whole application. For the new one, we're going to be able to use just this application and dispense with using this one. Okay, we're going to get all the information we need from the telescope because the other server will supply all this with us for us. So it's kind of cool. I will no longer need a camera into the computer like we have here. Okay, so I'll be able to have all that stuff figured out. It's just absolutely incredible. And that's the telescope that's going into Benson, Arizona. All right, and we're going to start putting that up in the very near future. I'm going to be coming back to do that. Okay, so here in this galaxy, you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. I've been actually taking a picture of this for a stack of this for a while just to build it up. It's 27 stack images. You can see these beautiful dark lanes in here, and you can see this gorgeous nucleus. But notice it's extended. It's longer. It's brightest in the center, but it has this long bar. This is called a barred spiral, and the spiral arms come off of those. Really interesting, and that's how that works. Mr. Django says, nice crispy galaxy. Sure is looking that way. And I could actually go into our dark side a little bit more, right? And kind of soften the noise a little bit while I'm there and make it look a little nicer even. That's pretty cool. And then we'll color correct just another time. And now that we get our proper colors, you can even see the blue stars in this galaxy now as these blue star clouds. The beautiful dark dust. And if you really want to see more detail, then I'm going to turn on our mask. And here you'll see some detail show up. Look at that. Now you see even more detail in these arms. This is a very, very sharp galaxy now. Look at that. Ah, gorgeous. Very, 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 very gorgeous. Ronald saying you can show the scope. It was certainly possible. And let me see if I can do that. Ronald would like to see the telescope that he helped contribute to buy, and I don't think that's a bad thing to do. So give me a moment. I'm going to show my background here, and let me go show you the scope. Now you see some bright lights. You can do this here. There is the scope. Hold on. Let me do it this way. Right there. That's the mount. That's the barrel of the telescope. It's an 11-inch telescope, so it's a lot bigger, relatively speaking, than our 10-inch telescope. All right, and it's a telescope that is going to allow us. It's going to allow us to see. It's going to allow us to dive deeper into the universe a little bit. And it's also a higher focal length, which is going to allow us to see this galaxy filling the frame a little bit of our system, our camera system, rather than that. So that's pretty cool. Oh, you could actually turn off the light. Thank you. All right, that was Marianne. She's coming in to say hi. You want to come say hi? You can come say hello. Here's the camera. Say hi. Just lean down. Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Marianne is here with us. She is saying she's going to bed soon, and that's fine because I'm going to stay up. And we have Kriston T. Harris with us as well, but he's sound asleep on the couch in the other room. So I don't think he's going anywhere. But hey, it's okay. This galaxy is just beautiful here that we're looking at. Let me get the color shifted out of the way. Oh, God, that's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. I would say this is quite a nice galaxy. It's the best one that, or the best way we've actually shown this galaxy. Again, it's the Pinwheel. This is 36 exposures. I started it before, and I'm going to save it.
Deep Sky Clock event closing.
Deep Sky Clock event closing, yeah, that's fine. And save exactly as seen. What do we got? Oh, good idea. Thank you. So, Contact in the Desert was wonderful. My first lecture was on Kaluza-Klein gravitons and the new physics that would allow us to go interstellar. And it was just so well received. I didn't realize, I couldn't tell you how well received it was. It was amazing. So I would have to say that that was a very successful lecture, based on the response I got. Now my voice is still a little bit gone, but I think I can be heard enough, and that's good. Thank you. So the second lecture was actually a Sky Tour live stream. It turned out to be local. I wanted to stream it. I couldn't stream it, unfortunately. I was getting errors, and so I was getting multi-stream errors, and I don't know why. And it really bothered me. Couldn't get rid of them. I tried multiple times to stream. Daryl realized that I tried to try twice, and as did Isabella, and I just couldn't get it to, to start. So I was really disappointed with that. But I had an entire room full of people behind me that paid to see this. So I said, okay, I'm going to actually just cater to the people that actually paid for this for that night, and I did it. So I figured when I got back, I would do a stream immediately. So we got back today, California, to Mesa, and I'm doing this from a makeshift little studio space here at the headquarters of SkyTour Livestream, which is kind of cool. So I want to say hi to Roni Hassan, who's here, and Daisy and Zoe. I forgot to say hi to you. Rascally, hey Rascally Rabbit's with us. All right. Cosmic Ray is talking about the C-Star S50, which is great. That's a nice little telescope system. I've seen some of the images they take, and the images are actually quite nice for such a small telescope, especially when you don't have to do anything to get the images. That's kind of cool. So that's cool. And Cosmic Ray says, Mark, they want the KK particle generator back. Well, the KK particle generator I did talk about as well, Ray. And really what that is a fusion reactor. That's all that would be needed. I say all. We need one first, right? But all we need is a fusion reactor to generate these particles. The idea is the particles would sheath your ship, surround your ship, and as they surround your ship, they would be particles that have a quality that relates to how gravity is defined. Now, gravity has waves. We know that. We see merging neutron stars and colliding black holes that actually generate massive ripples in space-time, waves. Okay, and these waves are visible. We see them. So there are gravity waves. We know that. We know that the electron and other parts of the elementary particles can be described with equations that are wave equations, or they can be described as particles. So there's a duality. You always have a wave and a particle nature within our standard model of physics. Now, gravity is supposed to be in there too. But that's the rub. Gravity has waves. We see that. But the graviton doesn't seem to exist for some reason. We can't find it. And the reason we can't find that gravity particle, I believe, is because it doesn't exist in our 4 dimensions, X, Y, and Z moving through time. Okay? It exists in a 5th dimension. Okay, that 5th dimension is described in a string theory variation called Randall-Sundrum 1, RS1. Now, if we ended up being able to generate gravitational particles, it would mean that they come from this fifth dimension. Therefore, if we surround our ship with them, our ship would be pulled into this fifth dimension. That fifth dimension has some really interesting characteristics. It's a highly warped view of the universe. So from inside there, the universe is compressed around you, smaller. The farther in you go to this highly warped space, the smaller the universe becomes around you. So let's say you went a foot. You want to go a foot in distance, right? We use that as a number we want to go. If you go into that fifth dimension a tiny bit, when you go a foot within that dimension, you come out, you might have traveled a foot and a half. Okay? So you would go from the place you were at 1 foot, and suddenly you're at a foot and a half, without going the distance from 1 foot to a foot and a half. You just appear at that other spot. But suppose you go far in by surrounding your ship with many of these particles that are known as Kaluza-Klein gravitons, and then you go that same foot and a half in this highly warped region where the universe is smaller and smaller around you. That same foot, when you come out to back to the 4 dimensions, could translate to perhaps 2 light years. Okay, so but you would go from the previous position to that next position without traveling the distance between those 2 positions. Think that through. You could go to that second position without having to travel the distance between the first and second position. Hello. You want to say something to the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, Marianne has a comment she'd like to make. Go ahead.
Oh, hi.
You got to bend down.
Okay.
People see you.
Hi, everyone. You can barely see me, but I just want to thank everybody for being on the stream and also being very patient with us while we had to do some of the work on the telescope, get that roof able to roll off and roll back on. It took a little while to get it going, but I want to thank everybody for all your support and all this great.
Yes.
Just passed through Meridian.
That's
Okay,
true.
that's good. But again, I just want to thank everybody. This is so wonderful to see everybody here in chat. Did you talk about contacting the desert and the telescopes?
I have been, but I'm going to go back to it.
Okay, well, I just want to thank again Michael, Tar.
Oh, I did that, yes.
Okay,
But
and
yes,
Tiffany.
they're in the chat too. They're hearing you.
Oh, great. Guys, you are so amazing. You have so much energy, and I thank you for everything you've done. And again, I'm out of the stream. You guys enjoy tonight. But again, thank you so very much for all your support and being here with us. Have a wonderful stream.
Well, there you go. You heard it right from the Chief Financial Officer for SkyTour Livestream. Marianne has been instrumental, obviously, in helping us get this all going. She's been incredibly willing to go out and drive all the way into the desert at a moment's notice, along with Tara Diulis, to fix anything that's gone wrong. And I think that they're very, very, they're good people, you know, they're good people. She left, so I can say that. They're good people. Don't tell her I said that, though. Got to keep her on her toes, you know. So I fly back home to Connecticut tomorrow, and then we plan the next trip to come out here and install the telescope I just showed you. I will have pictures of it as well, and I think that's cool. That'll be good. That'll be good. Okay, so this is our amazing measure. Actually, the Pinwheel Galaxy. Let me get the values for you. It's that was Centaurus A. Let me actually come back here. Zoom in. Southern Pinwheel. It is measure 83. That's right. Okay, so measure 83, all right, and we'll give, since it's directly below here, I want to take us down to Centaurus A, because that's the highest it gets for us, and it's actually from the horizon, it's like 13 degrees above the horizon. So part of the telescope is going to be touching the wall of the building, and part of it's going to be showing us the galaxy. But I want you to see this really cool galaxy. So this is the last version of the Pinwheel Galaxy that we'll do right now. Okay, so I'll save it exactly as seen. Okay. Oh, and I got to tell you something else, too. You're not going to believe this. On Friday night, I did a Skywatch with Ben Hansen. Ben Hansen, former FBI agent, guy, a good friend of mine. He had the show on TV called Fact or Faked on Sci-Fi. And every time we get together, we end up doing a stream. We would do a Skywatch together. We enjoy working with each other. He's a really good guy. Well, Ben and I were doing Ben's Skywatch, his typical Skywatch he does at these conferences. And while we were there, we were having trouble with the buses, weren't arriving in time. Everybody was sort of getting a little antsy. And we got out to the mountain pass where we were hanging out. We're on our way to Centaurus A now. You can see the telescope's kind of pointing downward. And when we got down to that mountain pass, we ended up having an incredible experience because and Michael Tarr will tell you this too, because he was there, and it's his fault this happened, by the way, and indirectly. When we got there, we suddenly heard somebody in the crowd say, "What's that?" and point in the sky. What they saw was a Falcon 9 liftoff. A Falcon 9 rocket went right over, and you watched it go right over, and you saw the staging occur at the late end of it, where the stage fell away. It was absolutely incredible. It was really, really cool, and I was really, really pleased to see this. And I had seen Falcon 9 launches before, so we thought that was really cool, So then I came back to the hotel room later on in the night, and then I waited till morning when the time lapse for the observatory would be ready. I looked in the time lapse, and lo and behold, we caught the Falcon 9 in Arizona. Now, it went right over us in California, and it was also almost right over us in Arizona. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we ended up catching this beautiful rocket on our all-sky, and I will do my best to show that to you. We'll get this exposure going, and then I'll drop out, minimize this, and show you the rocket launch. And it goes quick because we're doing these time exposures, right? Right. So here's Centaurus A. Doesn't look too exciting, but you'll notice where the telescope's pointing. The telescope is pointing kind of partway into the wall. So we're going to get a little weird glow of the wall in here. And after we take this picture, we'll have this available to you as well, because we'll be sending it up there. So this will be Centaurus A. And this is going to be a 25-second exposure. Remember, I do 25,000 milliseconds because there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. Okay, so off it goes. And we'll set up our stack. I'm going to get rid of the low light mode. Go into our stack, and you'll see the galaxy we just took a picture of. That's in the buffer. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those blue, hot young stars. Those dark arms. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So what we did while on Ben's Skywatch, we gave away a pair of binoculars. And we also gave away, courtesy of Calabos and Tiffany, and we gave away, we didn't give away anything else then, but on my lectures, we gave away a pair of binoculars for the first lecture, which was earlier that day, and then 2 full Celestron telescope systems for my next 2 lectures. Now, you have to understand, Michael and Tiffany want to start an observers network. They would like to have people looking into the skies, and Michael's very passionate about it. You get him talking about it, and he won't shut up. I actually love that about him. He's really, really cool. So bottom line is, we of course, are passionate about this, and of course, I don't shut up either. So it's a match made in heaven, right? We're going to actually try to bring bring this to the masses as best we can. So really cool stuff. Now, Michael was also talking about partnering up with Ben Hansen to actually obtain night vision systems that he would then give away in future contests on STLS. I think
Deep
that's
Sky
pretty cool.
Clock event.
Yes, Deep Sky Clock event. I'm aware it's a Deep Sky Clock event. So I'll just mute that a little bit because we don't need to know that. Anyway, so here's Centaurus A. You can see this beautiful band. By the way, this is the second time I've ever taken a picture of it. I've never ever taken a picture of this before because I couldn't see it. Down here in Arizona is the very first time we could actually see it. You can see these beautiful bands of dark nebula in here. It's just an incredible galaxy, you know. So we'll let that percolate a little bit, and meanwhile, what I'll do is I'm going to just minimize and not get rid of this, and I'm going to bring up the downloads, which are here, and then we have this all sky view. This is the all sky view from the other night. So we'll maximize it so you can see it. Okay. And I'll go through to the good stuff. This is, we're going to get to night. Right now, as we get to nighttime, you'll see the stars. Now watch. I'll do my best to stop it, but there it goes. Look at that. I mean, that was incredible. So what I'm going to do is bring that back. All right. And it's hard to, I'm doing this on the server while other things are going on. But let me try this. Here it is. So it's coming through. And then it actually disappeared in this cloud. And this cloud is where the staging occurred. And that puff of gas is the last remnant of the illuminated flight plume from the back end of the rocket. So this is cool. Now, previous to this, we got the re-entry of the Shenzhou Chinese rocket. Okay, we got the amazing Northern Lights. You know, you can see other satellites coming through here as well. And then here it comes. It goes all the way to here. And I'm trying to make it. There you go. Look at that. So that streak, you can see the haze around it. It's dragged out, obviously. But look at that. Isn't that something? And then it disappears in this, right? And that's like this poof. I mean, that's really cool. Let's just play that top to bottom so you can see it again. Then we'll go back to our shot. Here we go. It's like watching a movie. So it starts off really nice, and all of a sudden, wham! Look at that. Phoom! It looks unearthly. It really does. It looks unearthly. And this was the night here that we did. And the summer Milky Way is coming up here. You see that? Yeah. Okay, and you see satellites all over the place. And some clouds, too. Now, I'm going to stop this just to show you something. Okay. You look over here on this side, and this is Deneb. Okay? This is Gamma Cygni. This is the other two stars in Cygnus, and this is Albireo. This is the Northern Cross. See it? This is Vega, and its attendant two stars, okay, that we see. All right? And then we have Altair right here. This is the summer triangle that we see in the night sky. If you look at the time, that's 12:57 Arizona time. Okay, so that's pretty late, but this is coming. This is what's coming up. All right, so it'll be pretty cool. All right, so there we go. That was the really cool experience we had, and we saw that. We'll bring back our shot now. And you can see that we've got 12 shots taken here so far. And we'll zoom in a little bit so we can see Centaurus A. Again, it's the first time we've ever taken images of Centaurus A. And, oh, we had some satellite go through here, a really faint satellite. That actually, with 12 shots, that could be a geostationary satellite. Near the celestial equator, perhaps. Not sure though. It's at -43, so probably not. So it's probably a regular satellite of some kind, actually. But look at that. You see this complex structure here. And if we look at, if we go over to this other guy over here, up there, this one right here, and we actually pump that up, we can see a little bit more detail. Okay, so you can see that there's a little bit more in here. There's a little bit more of this black stuff. This is obviously too bright, okay, and we wouldn't ever do that because that's doubling up on the processing. But that's a really pretty object, and we'll just say save for now. Again, we're only getting half the telescope's capability right here, and the building is kind of muddying the image a little bit. So that's no fun. You know, that's no fun. But it's all right. Anyway, Mr. Django says, I started building an all-sky cam and following your advice. You need any help with that, let me know, and I will tell you where to get some good components. Maybe I'll send you a list of what I got and see if you want to go that route. Very, very cool. All right. But very cool, Mr. Django. That's Stephen Smith. I will, I'll stand by and hope you will continue that project. See, here's the building causing this two color here. But it's not allowing us to go further south, because then if we try to go south to see Omega Centauri, the building gets fully in the way and we can't actually see it. So it was a little bit of a disappointment. However, I'm back thinking that once we put the equatorial system on here, I'm going to at the same time add that lifting column, so it'll actually raise the whole telescope up by 20 inches or so and get it over the top of the building, so we'll see all the way to the horizon. You know, it's getting more and more complicated. I like it. The Benson, Arizona telescope will not need that because the entire top is going to pop and leave the telescope fully exposed to all four horizons. And down there, there's some pretty interesting stuff that we can see. All right, so let's do one last save on this. Okay. And now, Centaurus A is really pretty. I'll just zoom in one more time. Yeah, that's something. Let me do a little bit of work. See this bump here? It should be like a nice peak. It's not, because the building's in the way, so it messes with our data a little bit. Okay. So let's just go to here. All right, and this makes it about as dark as we would dare go. But look at that. Really, really cool. Okay. Now, this is Centaurus A, and Centaurus A is 15 million light years away, and it's actually a galaxy that is known as an active galaxy. An elliptical galaxy, that is to say, a galaxy that has typically it's just no real structure, it's just sort of a sphere of stars, but this particular one has this dark dust in it, which is very much missing from other types of elliptical galaxies, and that's what makes this really cool. Isabella is giving you the image directories, which is really good. Thank you, Isabella. And Cosmic Ray is giving us facts about Centaurus A. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to come back out of here, go into our low light mode. All right. And in this low light mode, we're now going to head to something else that's a little bit easier to see. But first, we're going to zoom out a little bit. Go back to, say, 25%. There we go. Okay, so now let's go check out something else. And up here in Virgo, we of course have many, many galaxies in Virgo. And we're going to check out the Sombrero Galaxy, because the Sombrero is famous. It's measure 104. And the Sombrero, you'll notice the telescope is looking up high in the sky because the Sombrero is high in the sky. And we should see the Sombrero come in here. There it is. So we will center up, and the Sombrero is actually kind of small, but we're going to still look at it anyway. Hey, Fantasy X, what's going on? Yeah, we're gonna be hoping to see some auroras. Fantasy says, "Get ready, auroras may be coming again." Yeah, we'll see, and I'll keep you posted if I can about what to expect. Okay, we're gonna just hop over here a little more, and then we're gonna start a 20-second shot. Okay. We're now searching for our guide stars, you can see up there. So as I said, this guy is actually pretty small, okay? And so we're gonna try and see if we can get in closer to that. With the new telescope, we will, and that's gonna be kind of fun. All right. So let's now go and get out of low light mode and go into live stack deep sky mode. Okay. That's Centaurus A, again with the building in the way. And we'll clear this. Ray, thank you for the Sombrero Galaxy information. As it comes in, you're going to see why they call it the Sombrero Galaxy. And this is why. Really cool. Now, I will show that to you up close and personal when we get a few more stacked images in. All right. But the Sombrero is fascinating because it has this beautiful dark lane of dust right along its midsection. And we're seeing it almost from the edge. It's looking a little bit down on top of it like that. Okay, so we're seeing kind of over the top, and so the nucleus protrudes up, and a little bit of it protrudes down. I like that. That's cool. And the Sombrero is cool in a small telescope because you can actually see that dark lane quite well. That dark lane actually would be visible in the telescopes that we give away courtesy of Michael, Tar, and Tiffany. And by the way, the reason I told you that the rocket going over was Michael Tar's fault is because he works at SpaceX. And I thought that was pretty funny. All right, let me see. Fantasy says, Mark, you missed a crazy heat wave. We're getting in California for a few days. Tomorrow I'm supposed to hit 100. I've been in California for the last week, man. I'm in Arizona right now in Mesa. I'm doing this stream. But I was at Contact in the Desert, Fantasy. You may have been late coming in. So I didn't miss the heat wave. I was enduring it, doing 3 lectures that week, out there. And then during that heat, it was very, very hot. Extremely hot trying to walk between the buildings at the Renaissance Esmeralda. The Renaissance Esmeralda being the hotel. Look at this beautiful galaxy. We'll zoom in a little bit. Look at that. Yeah, thank you, Ray. Pierre McCain is the one that actually discovered it. Very, very cool. Um, oh, and then we have someone else. Is that Lori at DLP? Lori at LDP. Hi, Lori. How are you? Thank you for coming. Um, yeah, we take photos and so forth of nebulae and so forth. If you've been lurking, hopefully you noticed and saw our. Uh, hopefully you noticed and saw the video of the rocket launch that I captured with our all-sky camera. Okay, this is our all-sky camera here. All right, now that's a live view of our all-sky. We can bring up the constellations and show people where things are in the sky. And it won't be long before you'll be able to do this too. We're going to make this a web available system. Okay. And we do star trails every night as well. This is an automatic process. Of course, when the moon's out, we don't get to see them, right? But when, for the most part, we can see them. There they are. Okay, there it is. And the moon, when it comes up in the middle of the night, it'll really kind of just obliterate everything, but you still see the star trails. And it shows you where the pole is just out of shot. So that's cool. You know? Yes, indeed. Okay, and we can also do this, like we can hover over the actual squares, like M106, hover over the square, and we see a picture of the actual object. If you click on it, it takes you to a website describing it. So we have this ability to show you all kinds of additional detail, like all the galaxies in Virgo down here. Just cool stuff, you know. And that comes from clicking the button here. So as I said, if you do that, okay, you can see Vega's just coming up right here. Okay, Vega is that star right there, very bright. Cygnus is rising on the horizon. Okay, Altair is not yet up. It's right there, actually, just coming up. So there's a lot going on with this. It's a fascinating little all-sky cam. We installed an anti-bird deterrent, which is cool. And that anti-bird deterrent's like little cups that spin around in the wind. And we have not had one bird poop on our all-sky in over 2 weeks. Evelyn's here. Evelyn says there was a big meteor that hit the moon today. That's very cool, Evelyn. I wonder if you saw our video of a meteor hitting the moon that we captured in 2019. So I didn't, we did not expect it, of course. And that is really, really cool. Evelyn and to Lori at LDP, why don't you guys make sure you subscribe to us and join us. Normally I have a co-host, Daryl Mason. Daryl is wonderful. I call him an astronomer's astronomer. I am a professional astronomer. That's what I went to school for. And between Daryl and I, we like to cover the night sky and tell you all kinds of cool things and show you kinds of cool things like this. Teach you about this, the Sombrero Galaxy. And it's just really a cool and enjoyable evening. It's sort of, I guess, it's something that you just don't get to see, you know? And we do this for everybody. We love doing this. So, that said, we'll let this keep going for a moment, and then I will actually move us to a new object. Jeremy B. is with us. He says, caught an article saying there is a galaxy that is right next to us. It went unnoticed this entire time. Do you have any insight about what this is about? I may, but I haven't. I'll have to look at the article, Jeremy B., and then I can talk about it. I knew about this, the research going on and the discovery, but I haven't actually pursued it, and that's my fault. But I will get back to you on that. SMA Sky, how are you? Nice to see you. So far, 3 new faces. This is nice. You guys, please do subscribe. And, we absolutely love having people here with us. We do have a Patreon. If you guys are interested, you can support us. We have prices available for everybody. Values that everybody can stomach. And we are a nonprofit organization. Our goal is to educate in astronomy. We are partnered with our chat members that are here, Calabos and Tiffany, to give away telescopes and other equipment. And we've been giving away telescopes and equipment courtesy of those two amazing people. And then we have people like Isabella. You see Isabella in the chat here. She is incredible. She is someone who actually, in the background, does the coolest things. Like when we take mosaics, she'll sit there in the background and assemble them into the mosaic so we can show you what we took before the end of the night in terms of, say, multiple photos of the same area and put them all together in one giant super photo. And she'll do that for us. She'll do videos of the comet that we're about to show you. And she does all kinds of additional things for us, like writing an application for your phone and the PC and the Mac, which allows us to view 3 years worth of data that SkyTour has amassed. And this is something that I could never have done by myself. Could I have done it? Well, sure. But could I take the time to do it? Well, no. I just don't have the time. So I'm pretty happy that Isabella is on our side. I hate for it to be the other way around, And she very much loves to give out the links to everything online that we do. If you're interested, you can go here, skytourlive.org. And if you go to skytourlive.org, you will actually be able to, that's our portal. The upper left of that portal page shows you SkyTour Livestream, the thing you're in now. The upper right shows you the Patreon. And you can go there. And then scroll down. You can go to our server, because every time we take a picture, like I'm doing right now, watch this. Okay, we've got 28 pictures taken here. None rejected. Fantastic. I'll say save. You'll see a green bar across the top. That shows an astronomical file format called FITS. FITS is the raw image data that you're free to take down if you wish. But if you want to just see the pretty pictures, then we will save the file just like you see it here. And that's been saved. And that file, okay, looks like this. There is the galaxy. All right, now we're a little bit zoomed in, but this is the full frame that you get. A satellite seems to have gone through here, which is cool. And the nice thing is that these pictures, in the time it took me to show you that picture, this file and this file, the picture file, have gone out into space and back down to our server, where it's now available on our server to you. And we make these available to you for free. So enjoy. You can take them down, examine them, use them yourself. So it's really cool. And Isabella says, thanks, it's my pleasure to help a little. You know what? She helps a lot. Don't let her fool you. She helps a lot. And I don't want to hear it, Isabella. You're one of the most, you're a super user. You're a super fan. And you're also an incredible contributor to SkyTour Livestream. Just like Daryl, just like Calabos and Tiffany, and just like, of course, Marianne and Tara, who never really appear on the air, but often show up in the streams, and do a lot of the work when I can't be out here. I live 2,600 miles away in Connecticut, and I'll be going back tomorrow. But tonight, I'm in the bunker that is Marianne's location, and it's our headquarters for SkyTour Livestream, and I'm doing a stream from there. So while this is going in, I'm going to go out and acquire something a little bit more different. And I would like to grab the coordinates of the comet that I want to show you now. We've been looking at this comet for quite some time. It's really, really pretty. So we're going to go look at it again. Because if you might say, well, why do you keep looking at it? Because it changes. In fact, every 20 minutes, you can see it has moved its position in the sky. It's out past the planet Mars, getting closer. So it's actually looking really pretty. And I've noticed that the tail of the comet, and it has a tail, the tail of the comet has actually grown substantially since we last looked at it. I found that to be interesting. So, we're going to take the coordinates and put them in here. These are going to be the east-west coordinates. We call that right ascension. And then we're going to take the declination, which is the up and down coordinates. Okay, so that'll be declination right there. And those are the coordinates of the comet. And I'm going to say go to when we're done with this picture. So we have enough of these, I think. So I'll hit save one more time. It's shooting out into space as we speak and back down to our server where it will become available to you. And then I said save exactly as seen. So now there it is. It's on the server of the Sombrero Galaxy. Except I forgot to label it. So I'm going to have to do it again. My mistake. If somebody caught that and messaged me, I apologize. Yeah, so I'm going to save it again. All right, and save it again. Okay. And we'll make sure that we get it. All right, so we'll get out of the Sombrero. Don't worry, I will fix all those directories once we get out there. All right, we're going to go to our low light, our low light mode again. So now we have our low light mode, and we will go to the comet because we know its coordinates. All right. Okay, we're waiting for our Starlink to come back. There we go. And now we can say go to, and you'll watch the telescope move a little bit. There it goes. It's heading over toward the west a little bit, and we should see the comet come in as a fuzzy patch. There it is down there. Okay, so what we'll do now is bring this comet up into the view. Okay. There it is. You can see the tail already. Okay. The tail has changed substantially since we last saw it, which is really cool. And this is one of the items I imaged for everybody yesterday in California at the Contact in the Desert conference. Contact in the Desert, put on by Ron Janix and Gordon. They are very, very passionate, and it's incredible. So now what happens, it says searching, it's actually, the telescope's looking for a guide star, and it's already found one. So now what we can do is set our shot. We're going to make it a 20-second shot, 20,000 milliseconds, and take us out of the low light mode and go into deep sky mode. Okay, and you'll see the last deep sky stack of the Measure 104 Galaxy, and we're going to take the Sombrero and say thank you. We'll see you another time. And the progress bar over there is now making its way across the screen, and we'll see the first shot here of the comet in just a moment. And there it is. Look at that. So while the comet is coming in, I'm going to take a moment to share with you what's going on our screen here. So first things first. This section, this is the telescope control section. Okay, north, south, east, west, and number buttons to actually get into the computer, which is right here. Okay, here is the telescope in the building right here. Okay. This window, which often will show, is called the stacking window. What we do is we'll take a photograph, take a second photograph, and align it with the first and stack it on top and make an image sandwich of many, many, many photos. Bam! There goes a satellite right through. And the reason we do that is because we want to have the ability to get rid of the noise in a shot. And the more we stack, the cleaner it gets and the more detail we can pick up. And that's really cool. Okay, so that's the stack window. This is the camera control section over here, this whole sidebar. But let me tell you, the most important element in here, right, and I will share that with you right now, the most important element inside of this area is this exposure and this gain. Okay, exposure and gain are really important. This is how long we have the sensor exposed, and this is how sensitive we make that sensor that's being exposed. So 250 gain is moderate to fairly high, and the exposure of 20 seconds means for 20 seconds we're going to pull in data at this highly sensitive 250 gain. Okay, so that's what this is. Oh, and this down here, this is our focus section right here. And the telescope can autofocus. It autofocuses itself. So I just thought I would share those things with you. And we are now back to the live view. Well, we have been. So let's zoom in on this comet and see what we got now. See if we can make some adjustments to show us what's going on. This is the dust tail of the comet. It's actually a very interesting tail, and you can see that it's actually getting longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to exaggerate this processing to pull a little more detail out of that tail. Okay, you can see that this tail now goes all the way down here. It was only a few nights ago when this tail was just very kind of stubby, but as it gets closer, it's going to get better and better and better. Okay, and if we want to see what's really here, what we can do is this. I'll move it over here. I'll zoom out just a little bit. Okay, and then I will use this histogram, this processor, to really pump it up. And now you can see that this tail is not just a straight tail. It's got kind of like a little fringe to it, which is kind of cool. All right, and there may even be something out here that is out here. So that's really interesting. So we'll be looking for that. As this comet gets closer and closer to the sun, it's going to get better and better. And I'm not sure what magnitude it will reach, what brightness, right? But its magnitude right now is 10.6. For reference, the stars around it here, which we can go look at, show you what I'm talking about. We're going to go out of here and go up to here, center our telescope there, and zoom in. This red square is the field of view. Okay, it's 1.5 degrees by 1 degree tall. And as we zoom in, we can see these stars. And we're looking, for instance, at these three stars, 1, 2, 3. That's these three stars, 1, 2, 3. This star, okay, the brightness of this star is magnitude 9.4. Okay, now the positive numbers are fainter than the negative numbers. Negative numbers are the brighter of the numbers. Like Vega is magnitude 0, right? The comet's magnitude 10.6. And if you figure out, if you want to look at how that works, the difference between magnitudes is 2.512, right? And the dimmer the stars, okay, a difference of 5 magnitudes is something like 100 times fainter, okay, because it's 2.512 to the 5th power, okay, and it will give you a rough idea of how much fainter something is, and that is part of the process of astronomy, where you try to figure out how bright things are. This tail's definitely longer. Definitely longer. And I do want to thank everybody for joining us and hanging out with us tonight. This is really cool. I want to say hi to Bonnie. That's Anahata 77. Hello, Bonnie. I met Bonnie when I spoke in Colorado. It was very cool. You know, she's a very, very sweet person. Very nice human being. So, let me just let a few more things come through here. Okay, let a few more images come in, I mean. All right. So that's really pretty. And now, this comet is actually called C/2023. You're going to love these names. C/2023 Tsuchinshan Atlas. Okay, so I could just say comet, right? But I know how it really is named. And the Tsuchinshan is the discoverer. You can actually get a comet named after you too if you choose to find it. If you find it, it will be named after you. Because the International Astronomical Union, the IAU, determines what the names will be. And sometimes those names will be selected for you. Other times those names will be, those names will be something that you could pick. I think that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Yes, you do. Okay. So, that said, as we move forward here, we'll capture a few more of this comet, and then we'll save it. Because it's moving through the sky. And if we came back to it, we'd see that it moves. You'll see these stars, like these two stars. Okay, if we come back, this thing is going to be here somewhere. So we can do that. Let's hope we can. Yeah, neato. This is really cool. Now, as far as the comet's parameters, okay, I will tell you the distance of it right now is 273 million kilometers from the Earth. Okay, that's 1.8 astronomical units. That's farther than Mars is from the Sun, so it's out past Mars. The time it took the light coming from that comet to reach us was about 15 minutes, which is kind of interesting. So it's going to reach closest approach at 71 million kilometers. That'll be half an AU, half of an astronomical unit, which is 93 million miles. All right. So it'll be brighter at that point, and that should be just it'll be in January. Let's see. January of just that's the end of the year. I gotta look for it, but it's gonna get quite bright. It's gonna end up being around a fourth or third magnitude by the time it gets all done, apparently. So we'll see what happens. Some of these predictions are usually dismal failures, but this one won't be. This one looks like it's pretty cool. So that's neat though. Tsuchinshan Atlas. Atlas stands for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. Atlas Cosmic Ray has actually put that up for us. Thank you. So not bad. Let's see where it wants to process. It's going to push the process. Yeah, it can now. Look at that. Now I'm going to teach you something. If you look right at the center of this right here, you see the tail comes out to about here. But if you look over here, right here, okay, and you let your peripheral vision come into play here, you'll see that the tail gets a little bit further out, and that's called averted vision. And in astronomy, we do that all the time, trying to grab more information out of the image we're looking at, right? The averted vision, averted, A-V-E-R-T-E-D. C&D boy, what's going on, man? That's Canada. Yep, very cool. Very cool. All right, so that's neat. So let's go see if there's another object that we'd like to see. And we know the answer to that, don't we? The answer is yes. There's always more objects to look at. Let's come up and do this. That's an elliptical galaxy. But I want to come up here. This is the Virgo cluster. I would like to come in here and dig into Markarian's chain a little bit. Just to show you, there's in the Virgo cluster, there's at least 1,000 galaxies. So how many life forms could be looking back at us saying, I wonder if there's life in that galaxy? And the answer is possibly very many. One of the lectures I did this weekend was on the prospects of life elsewhere, with conclusions saying there could be as few as 20 million other civilizations in our galaxy, and as high as 40 billion. We don't have enough data to be able to say for sure that any of that is true, but it is something that is definitely in the cards, and something that's very, very possible. So there it is. That's Comet C/2023 Tsuchinshan Atlas. And we will be back to that. We'll be watching it all year as it begins to brighten as it approaches the sun. All right. So let's come out of deep space mode, go back into our low light mode. And let's go back into our planetarium. And in our planetarium, first I'll drop this back down to about 25% so we get the whole frame. Now we'll come back in our planetarium, and in here, we're going to go a little farther over into the sky. Watch the telescope now. And we're going to go to Markarian's chain. All right, there's the telescope. You see it moving? There it is. It's going over a little bit more. And you're going to notice that it goes to a place that, well, you say, well, what's going on? I see some fuzzies. What are those? Well, those are part of, there goes a Starlink satellite. That's a Starlink satellite. Okay. Here's one. Here's one. It's incredible. Okay. So we're going to actually do something interesting. We're going to take a 20-second shot of this. Then we're going to do an annotation where we're going to actually identify and label everything you see. And it's the system does it. All right. So let's come out of low light mode now. We are guiding. You can see from our numbers right here. So we're guiding. So let's get out of low light mode. Go into deep sky mode. And our last object we took was this one coming up, the Comet. And we'll clear it because it's up on the server already. I'm quite sure. And our progress bar right here is moving across. And that progress bar is down here. Right there. Okay, and as you can see, it's moving across the screen. And now we have some beautiful galaxies showing up. All right. Now let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so this is part of Markarian's chain. There's a little bit more to the right. And we will move the telescope over just enough to capture those. So let me go into here. our planetarium. Zoom in. Okay. Now, where we are, where we're looking, and where we're set up is right here. But I think I want to get a little bit more, because we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, at least 11 other galaxies in this view. And as I said, there's up to 1,000 in this view. So, so we have this guy down there. Those three. I want to figure out if I have which way I've got to move. Yeah, okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this for a second. Reposition. Okay. And we're going to go like this. We're going to go to the west. And then to the south a little bit. And see if that puts us in a better position. Maybe. We'll actually go to that. Let's go there. Move that down. Get that in place. Okay. Yeah. Those are the guys. Okay. So now I'm going to go like this. Move us down. And then move it over to the east. Which means move the telescope so that the stars move to the left. And then you'll see Markarian's chain, the galaxies, the chain of galaxies. Sorry, I meant to go this way. The chain of galaxies that make up this this whole bunch of galaxies. Now, if you were in one of these galaxies, you would have a whole bunch of galaxies around you and near you, and it'd be incredible because you'd see them very brightly, relatively bright. Okay, but we'll just go to here because we're going to have one on the corner. We're going to have these down here, one there. There's going to be a few more, and this is going to be cool. So let's do that. We'll do that. So I'm going to do this again. We'll make this a 20-second exposure. Actually, I'll go 25 seconds. Okay, 25,000. All right, we'll come out of low light mode. Go into deep sky mode. Right, and we'll get rid of this last image. But there's galaxies everywhere here. So no matter where you go, it's incredible. You read some of the chat here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, see, that's Markarian's chain in earnest. All the way down here. Look at all these galaxies. Look at all those galaxies. Each of these galaxies has characteristics all its own. And sometimes galaxies together form certain things in the sky that people label. Like within Markarian's chain, we have the eyes, which are a pair of galaxies. We'll let this come in. I'm going to color correct here to properly get our background. There we go. And then when we come in here, okay, we look here at Markarian's chain, and let's go here. And you'll see that there's two galaxies here called the eyes, and that's these guys right here. These are the eyes. Fascinating pair of galaxies, as you'll see as we develop them. Now we have 3 images stacked, as you can see right up there. 3 images stacked. Okay, soon to have 4. And let me see how our error bars are doing. Oh, I'm way up high. I'm accepting a lot of error if we get it, but we don't have it. So I can drop this down, and at 7.7, it means that we are trying to keep the star images well within a certain diameter. And right now they're 6.37 down to 6.22, okay, and 6.45 down to 6.22, and so that's our threshold for round stars, as we see here. If it gets higher than that, then we want to reject that image in our permanent stack. So basically, I will bring this down right to the top. Okay, so 7.14. And as we get another image to come in, you'll see either a red bar or a green bar. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? I mean green. So which one is it? It's a green bar. Look at that. So it's a very calm night out there. This telescope right now is about 65 miles from here, out in the desert. When I'm running it from Connecticut, it's 2,500 miles away. And still, it's looking good. Nicely done here. This telescope works very well. So I'm going to take and just darken up our background a little bit, increase our contrast. You notice I don't go past this hump. This white curve represents the average of all of our data. We have red, green, and blue curves, and if I was to slide that down, you'd see the red curve, the green curve, and you can see the blue curve if I was to bring this up. Okay, so there's the blue curve. Okay, there's too much blue now in this, obviously. Okay, but we have red, green, and blue. What I do when I click this button is I align all the curves. So when this aligns all the curves, and the white is the average of all those curves. So this dotted line represents the black level. If you come down the curve, you're going to get some brightness of that area, and it's going to end up, if we go way over here, it looks too washed out. This is an artificial construct because it's really, really dark out there. So we bring this in and we stay on the curve for the data, and if we climb and go just to the very left of the top, that's the dark part without losing any data. This is the mid-level material, the mid-level data. If we push this, it's going to get noisy, but you'll see there's more data in there. You can see more data in some of these, but it gets too noisy. So what we do is we typically take this mid-level down a bit, softens the noise we see, and allows you to get a good blend of data versus noise. So I was trying to get this little galaxy and this little galaxy to be perfectly framed, so we're good. So let's do this. Let's put this down here, okay? And let's actually gesture away that side, and let's zoom in on this, okay? With the new telescope, our view is going to look like this probably all the time. We're going to have full views like this. Okay. So now I'm going to change the name of this. This is Markarian's chain. And that change now will allow for any will account for any photos we take. You'll see there's details showing up in some of these galaxies. Let's zoom in and see. Look at that. You can see spiral arms in here really nicely. Some of these galaxies are elliptical galaxies, and you don't see the detail because there really isn't any. This one has a dark lane, kind of like the Sombrero did. But it's an odd shape, probably because it's interacted with some of these other galaxies. This one here has a dust lane in it, but it also has an odd shape, meaning it probably also interacted with other galaxies and got dragged around and bent up by its gravitational interactions. Tricia Ferreira, how are you? Nice to see you. And Memory Hole 370, what's up? Go to the Cosmic Summit. I'd love to, actually. I would do a presentation there. You know, that's a cool place. Okay, so we've been going for a while. This is good. We're getting some great stuff here. I want to make sure. I don't know if we'll be able to stick around long enough for the Milky Way to come up, because it comes up after midnight here. Maddie Waddy, what's going on? Maddie Waddy says that's the mystery simulation are made of protons, and the periodic table starts with a proton and so forth. One proton. Well, the periodic table starts with hydrogen, which has one proton and one electron in its base state. And so that is very important. Very, very, very important. Yes, sirree. Okay, so now we've got, oh man, this is pretty good. We've got, we've got 19 stacked here. We're going to go to 20, and then we can move a bit. All right, I'm going to dock this up again. Dock this, bring it back. Let me bring back the telescope, slide it over, there we go. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty, looks good. And then you can see these details are very nice here. Let me actually add some more contrast here. Final bit of contrast I'm willing to risk doing without losing data. That's cool. Our galaxy kind of looks like that, you know, from a distance, you know. So that's neat. Now you might ask, how far away are these galaxies? Well, let's take a look. If we go to the location where we were Markarian's chain, we're looking at distances approaching 51 million light years. That's almost as long ago as the death of the dinosaurs, 65 million years ago. And many of these galaxies are showing us that, yes, this happened. We saw a number of galaxies where the light has been coming to us for 120 million years. Twice the age of the death of the dinosaurs. The light hitting your eyes tonight from this galaxy and this cluster of galaxies is approximately 50 million years old. That's pretty incredible. Like the eyes, these ones here that we're talking about, these guys, okay, these are 66 million light years away. The light you're seeing coming from them actually left a million years before the dinosaurs died, and has been going through space all this time to get to us. And finally, the light that we've just seen to capture for this one and only time, then gone forever as we leave and look for another way, is light that was making the journey to us a million years before the dinosaurs died. It's pretty cool if you think about it. That's how big the universe is. Very, very neat. Okay. So these are, 50, 60 million light years away, and that's not the farthest by far. Okay. Let's back out to view the whole thing. This here is amplifier glow. That's a product of the imaging system. Okay. Okay, so we will now save this as Markarian's chain. Save it exactly as seen. Okay. And that photo is going to look like this on our server. And you can download it. You can zoom in. Say, how's that? Like, what's that? Ooh, that's cool. Look at those lines. Look at those beautiful things. Beautiful dark lanes. So this allows us to explore these different objects. This is neat. As you can tell, I've been dying to do a stream. And I was really disappointed that I couldn't do it when I was in California. But this is the stream that should have been. Okay. So we've got 29. We're going to go to 30. Excuse me. And once we go to 30, we are going to save it. There we are. Saved. Saved exactly as seen. And there. Now it's on its way up to the server. We are good. And now we're going to go to our low light mode from deep sky mode. Like this. We can zoom in a little more. Come out of here and zoom out a little bit and make our way over to here, where I think we have another suite of galaxies that are neat, namely this guy. This is the Black Eye Galaxy. This is neat. Okay, you see the telescope is moving a little bit right now, looking higher in the sky. That's going to be even better. Yeah, and you're going to like this one. Okay, so now we're going to head to the west. Excuse me. Okay, you're going to move to the west a little bit. Move south. Like this. Move south and bring this in. I like to center them up. By the way, the new telescope won't have any distortions out to the very edges of the field. It's going to be beautiful. Okay. So while that's getting stabilized and getting its guide star, we'll set this up for 20 seconds. By the way, 20 seconds in a telescope to capture faint galaxies, it's really quite unheard of. We have it because we modified the telescope to be f1.8 by adding what's called a hyperstar. And it's a Meade telescope, and we were the original prototype with none others in the world. And then a few other people started adding hyperstar systems to their Meade telescopes as well. Hello, Jessica. Okay. So now we got our guide star. We're going to get going here and leave the low light mode, go into that famous deep sky mode. Jeez. I didn't get sick out there. This is because I've been talking so much out there that my voice is literally shot. But I had to do this for you. I just couldn't not do it. Okay. This is a cool photo. You're going to like this. This is the Black Eye Galaxy, so named because, well, it has a dark cloud of dust on the far side to us. So let's get this balanced out the way it wants to be. Color correct. And zoom in a little bit to show some details. And now as we do this, you're going to start to see more details coming out. That's true fantasy. I think that's part of the reason that my voice has been so rough. There's lots of fires, including here in Arizona and in California. And that fire debris goes high into the sky and literally coats everything, and you breathe it in. Here's our all-sky camera at the moment. Here's the Milky Way rising. Here's a Big Dipper. There's the bowl right there. Here's the 3 stars, and those point down to Arcturus. Here's the shape of the kite of Arcturus. It's not really a kite, but that's Booties. Okay. And next to it is Corona Borealis, a little curly cube of stars. And then we have Hercules, which is right up here. Measure 13 is right here. And we'll actually see that as well shortly. So we're just cranking away. There's the Black Eye Galaxy. Oh, okay. Full width, half maximum. I have just a little bit too low. So we only got one good one. So now we'll get all good ones. I apologize for that. But you'll see now we have one photograph that's green. And now watch, when the second one comes in, you're going to see that much of this noise goes away. Ready? Watch this. Here it comes. Look at that. Now that noise has been softened tremendously. And it will continue to soften tremendously. Very nice. Now this is a galaxy that is millions of light years away. All these stars you see, they're way up here. They're in our foreground. The galaxy is way far away, way out there. So that's something to consider for this, okay? That we're not looking at any stars that are in that galaxy. We're seeing through the veil of stars on our own to the galaxy far beyond. Jeremy B says, thanks for sharing your knowledge and these great views of space. You're welcome, brother. This is all so cool. And Reek Mayhem says, thanks for this. Haven't been under the stars for 24 years. Well, why don't you join us on all the clear nights? Subscribe to us, please. And click the bell and get an alert when we go live. Right? We stream to YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitch, Trovo, and Instagram and Twitter. And that's what we do right now. and more to come. If we have more platforms, I can just add them as well. Facebook's giving me some problems right now because my profile was stolen by Indian hackers, and in Pune, India, I was able to track down the location, and they wanted to ransom back my profile to me, and I basically said, yeah, I don't think so. And so I started a whole new profile. So I had almost 5,000 friends on Facebook, and now I'm already back up to 1,500 or so. So, not the end of the world. I did lose a lot of stuff, a lot of stories and articles that I wrote and put up there. But you know what? After a few days, I got over it. I said, without it, what would happen? What would I be doing? I'd be doing the same thing. Fantasy writes, Mark takes us on an adventure through the cosmos. How long have we been doing this? Since 2018? I think soon. I think earlier. I think it's been like 2016 or 2017. And Fantasy also says, Mark, have you tried contacting that guy on YouTube with the blue hair, pierogi scammer paper? Yeah, I contacted the Trilogy Media actually and asked them about it, but they don't go after scammers like that. Okay, with Facebook, so there's nothing they could do, but that's all right. I'm telling you right now, it's okay. It's okay. You can't keep a good thing down, and no one's gonna keep me down. So we're good. All right, so here you can see a better view of the Black Eye Galaxy. It looks like a galaxy with a black eye. You'll notice the spiral arms. The spiral arms are showing up really tight spiral arms here. This is something else. Very, very nice. I'm not sure why this galaxy has this dark matter right here, this dark nebula stuff, this dark dust lane, but it does, and it's interesting because there's not a whole lot else in this galaxy for that kind of dark dust. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we're now up to 13 successful photos, as you can see. So this is getting better and better. Look at the circularity. See this concentric circles now? They're actually not concentric. They're spirals coming out ever so tightly like that. So they're coming out. And if we look at the data on this galaxy, the Black Eye Galaxy, this is an SA, which means a spiral. A meaning very tightly wound arms. Okay. And that's kind of what it is. All right. Neato. Let's zoom in a little more on it too, see if we can get a little better view of it. Okay, there we go. That's looking better. Now let's try to soften some of the noise here. I can do that by dragging this mid-level down to about here. And notice the detail that pops out when you do that. Look at that. Wow. That's really pretty. Really pretty. I like it. The Black Eye Galaxy. Okay, I'm going to save it here anyway. And then save exactly as seen. Let's see what else we're going to do. Oh, I know what I'm going to do next. Yes, I do. Wow, so this is so cool. That's going to be very high in the sky. All right. Notice that there's a really interesting little white area right there. I don't know if you can see that. Right here. Let me show you. Let me see if I can get there. Okay, this little area right there. Look at that little detail in here. Okay, and you got this beautiful black eye right here. That's actually a marvelous example of galactic structure, and you see these really interesting and moving loops here of the circularity, the spiral arms. Again, it's an SA, meaning tightly wound spiral arms, and it's just incredible. You know, a lot of people, when they do this, when they watch this watch our streams, what they may do is they will put the YouTube channel up on their big screen TV, and then sit down and make popcorn and watch it like a TV show. That's like, wow, that's the kind of an ultimate, you know, thank you. I mean, if I got them over, you know, beat Bobby Flay, I guess I'm feeling pretty good. But not. I realize it's not even any competition. Trust me. So there we go. So let me see if there's anything else. We're gonna use this guy to quickly punch up artificially all of our processing. And it looks like we got most of what's in that galaxy is here visible now. Right? And now we see more detail in it. You still see a little bit of modeling, and that's noise. We have 24 frames we've captured. If we go to 48, it'll be reduced somewhat. If we go to 100 frames, it'll be reduced even more. All right? And then you reach an area, a point where there's really very little return, because you've already gone as far as you can go. But what we can do with this is we can remove the noise. And that's what we're going to do. Not right now, but later on when we process. So there's the Black Eye Galaxy. I hope you enjoyed that. And now we'll come out of our deep sky mode, go back to our low light mode, and then head to this other object that I know we'd love to see. Okay. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go to the Great Star Cluster in Hercules. If you watch, the telescope's going to move to the other side of the sky. Look out toward the northeast a little bit. And you should see a fuzzy object moving into the view. And there it is. There it is. Yep. That is the Great Cluster in the constellation Hercules. It's a globular cluster. Another object that we looked at last night in the stream for people at Contact in the Desert. Okay. I hope you enjoyed seeing the rocket launch through the eyes of the Sky Tour All Sky Cam. It was really quite something. I saw it live with my eyes while running that Skywatch with Ben Hansen, and it was really cool. And it took about 4 minutes to cross the sky. But because we're taking long exposures, that's all been condensed. But something else, that's something else. Okay, this particular object is so bright it doesn't need a long exposure. So we're going to just go 15 seconds. All right. So we are guiding. We're going to get out of low light mode and go into deep sky mode. Deep sky mode from the previous iteration, previous run, shows the Black Eye Galaxy. That's up on our server. So that's cool. So now here comes this new object, the Messier 13. Look at that. Wow. That's an incredible cluster of stars. And this is one of those clusters that just defies words. It's so beautiful. And if I can just come into this here a little bit, it's about 25,000 light years out. That's quite far. But again, it's a halo object. They're surrounding the galaxy, and they orbit the galaxy, plunging through the galactic disk, and then out the other side, and doing that over and over, which is kind of cool. So this is a stunning object. Stunning object. Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of stars in an exploding snowball of stars. So let's see what it wants to do for processing. And it always wants to do that, but for globular clusters, I like to go right to the peak and get it as dark as it'll go. Okay. And then when I pull this guy down, it softens the interior of the cluster, allowing you to see the stars inside, as you'll see. Look at that. Now you can see the stars in here. There they are. And we didn't lose anything because it's all stars. That's really pretty. Again, that's measure 13. Now, thanks to Isabella, what we can do is we can go search for every single occurrence of the photography of measure 13. And in that process, what we can do is see if anything has changed over the years in measure 13. So in such a highly gravitationally tumultuous region, there should be some movement that maybe could be noticed. But at 25,000 light years away, only the closest to us might show us that. And that particular cluster is Omega Centauri. And we can't see Omega Centauri, so that's the way that is. Anyway, we'll just take a few more of this. We got 10 already. Let's zoom way in. Now, when Daryl's here, he likes to talk about this little shape right here. Now, if you didn't see it, let me actually outline it for you, okay? So, that little shape is this line, that line, and this line. It's like a little Y, an upside down Y. That's actually what's called it's called a random shape that shows up in clusters because of the placement of the stars. And these shapes that you see can sometimes take on something we know, because our brains love to make patterns into something it understands. That's called pareidolia. So here it makes it into an upside down Y, or a boat propeller, a three-bladed propeller. And so this feature is known as the propeller. Really interesting. So look at that. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get out of there. So now we have this amazing cluster, and the more we bring in, the better that cluster is going to look. The more we stack, I should say. We stacked 16 so far. If we move this down, we can see that we lose a lot of that noise in the background, and we get just the data. Isn't that beautiful? You'll also notice today that the startup music and that kind of stuff wasn't here. That's because, again, I'm using kind of a bare bones system right now. And I only have the normal music that we have. And I know it's getting loud a little bit, and I'm going to turn it down a little bit, because I don't want it to be too loud. There we go. Yeah, Cygnus isn't up enough, Ray, for us to explore. But when we get sucked into Cygnus, you betcha we will. And we will be looking at the Veil Nebula quite a lot. Ray's favorite place to go. So really pretty, yeah. Incredible. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, you should hear music. He says we hear no music at all. Hopefully you hear it now. It's been in the stream. It's probably very faint in the background though, because it is going out on the channel. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Yeah, that's something else. Wow. Yeah, this is something. Okay, so we've got 23 taken here, and it's getting better and better. I always like this red star right here. Look at that. That red star. Now let's do something. I want to show you something. I meant to do this before, but I'll do it now. We're going to annotate this. Okay, we're going to tell it to tell us what it sees in this view. So right now, it's searching through the database, and it's going to tell us what it sees in this whole view. It's going to label that star, okay, and it labels this as NGC 6205, okay, which is the Great Cluster in Hercules, right? And it's going to label this star here as Hipparchus star 81848. That's actually a catalog called the Hipparchus catalog, named after Hipparchus. And then we have a galaxy in here too. Look at that. IC 4617. IC stands for Index Catalog. Pretty interesting. Interesting you're saying there's no music. I've got music going out on the channel that's really pretty high. So I just increased the volume again. So you'll have to let me know, because I'm watching it go out. It's being broadcast. Interesting. It could be that perhaps the levels are a little different, but you should be able to hear music right now. Ray, you can stop that right now. Okay. Well, I don't understand why the music isn't here, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to save this annotation as well. Save the image with any annotation. Okay. All right, good. Thank you for that information on the music. I will fix it at some point. Wonder why it's doing that. Don't get it. Could try something. Let me know if any change has occurred. Fireworks Galaxy 6946. All right, hold on. Did I save this image? I must have. I'll do it again. Okay. All right, so now we have that. All right, cool. So now I'm going to take us down into one different object. All right, we're going to save this now just like this. Save it exactly as seen. All right, Then we'll come out of here. And let's go into, as I said before, our low light mode from our deep sky mode. And let's set our magnification to 25%, maybe 30, 33% is good. All right. I guess the clues decline gravitons are absorbing the music. How about that? Okay. So let's now go to one more thing here. Let's find... Well, actually, we're going to go look at one other thing right here, which is nearby. And this is the star that's going to go supernova, or not supernova, nova. And that is the Blaze star, or T Corona Borealis. All right. And when we bring it in, you'll see it. Okay. And it's lining it up right now. And we'll annotate so you can see where it is. All right. That's the old annotation. We're going to get the new one. And it will identify T Corobor in just a moment. Okay. That's the Blaze star. That star is going to go nova, and we're waiting for it to do so. We've been tracking it. I've been tracking it. And we're going to follow it as well. I'm calling it T Corobor. Okay. And it's also known as the Blaze star, but that's fine. So we have a galaxy in here. We have another galaxy in here. And then we have the Blaze star itself, which is Hipparchus 78 322. Isabella, thank you so much for coming. It's very nice to see you. We'll see you again. Excellent. That's correct, Jeremy B. This is the star that's supposed to go nova soon. Okay. This year, as a matter of fact. So why don't we just take just a few 12-second shots of it. We don't need many. All right. And what I'll do is I will clear this annotation. We don't need it because it's right here. And we'll stack it. We'll see the old stack, and we'll clear the old stack. Actually, it'll be cleared automatically when I do this. Okay. There we are. And let's do some processing. 1 second. Kill that. Bring that down. There we go. All right. Okay. So once again, we can do this. And there's Hipparchus 78 322. That's the Blaze star. That's the one that's going to go nova. And what's a nova versus a supernova? Well, it goes like this. A nova occurs when you have a binary star system. You have two stars that are orbiting each other and have been for some time. One of them evolves off what we call the main sequence and swells into a red giant after it's used up all of its hydrogen. And so when it does so, it doesn't hurt the second one. And then when it dies, it shrinks to become a white dwarf. So now we have a white dwarf and another star. And when that other star begins to run out of hydrogen, it too swells into a red giant. And when it swells into a red giant, something incredible happens. it swells so large potentially that it begins to leak hydrogen gas onto the surface of the white dwarf. Now, if the white dwarf is somewhat lower mass, and the mass of the white dwarf is below this magic number called the Chandrasekhar limit, which is 1.44 solar masses, then the hydrogen gas can pool on the surface and surround the entire star's surface, because the star is the size of the Earth, and at that point, and at some point, if enough of it forms there and comes through that common point of rotation between the red giant and the white dwarf and lands on the white dwarf, it can spontaneously fuse all at once. Now, that's not enough to destroy the star, so it goes up, vroom, and lasts for a few days to a few weeks, and then it goes back to being the star we see, like this one right here. Okay, just like that one, right? Like this one that we're looking at. So that's why it doesn't get destroyed. If, however, when that hydrogen gas bleeding through the common point of rotation onto the surface of the white dwarf causes the mass of the white dwarf to exceed 1.44 solar masses, then we get a supernova, and it's called a Type 1A supernova. And the Type 1A supernova will destroy the white dwarf and possibly the companion star too. So it's pretty crazy. Now, the interesting thing about these Type 1A supernovae is that we can watch them and we see where they happen, and they have remarkably similar characteristics. So we know the intrinsic brightness of these Type 1A supernovae. And when we see these things blow up, we measure their apparent brightness. And because we know how bright they are intrinsically, we can calculate the distance to the galaxy that they're happening in. It's really effective. And it's something we call a distance candle and part of our cosmological distance ladder. It's really neat. So, well, that's it. I only wanted to get a few here, so we've got 19 shots here. That's all we need of the blaze star. That's called T Corridor. We'll take the 20th, and then we'll call it quits and move on. And there's our 20th exposure. There we go. All right, so we'll come out of deep sky mode for now and go into low light mode. Here we go. All right. I did want to do that. So let's do this now. Fireworks Galaxy. Fireworks Galaxy is up toward the north, and we should be able to look at that. Why don't we try that? Actually, altitude, let's check its altitude. Yeah, 34 degrees. It's out there, right out there. That might put us in the way. We'd have to wait a little longer for that to come in. So we won't do the fireworks right now. But let's see what else we can do. Oh, look, there's Cygnus Ray. It's only just coming up, but this is low, and if we zoom out, you'll see it's actually near the horizon. And we don't want to be hanging out near the horizon. So how about let's try something else. A little preview of summer, maybe. 28 degrees. Not quite high enough, I don't think. Not quite high enough. Yeah, we'd have to wait a little longer. I'm looking to see. How about this guy? Where's he? The wild duck cluster. Well, we can try it, but I think it's going to be a little bit, still a little bit low. We're trying to go into the southeast. You see the telescope is going now. Yeah, that's a little bit low. You can see the tiniest of the telescope's capability is there, so we can't do this yet. More of the planet, we have to rotate around a little bit more. So let's do one more thing that's something attainable. Oh, well, now this might work. This is cool. Let's try. Yeah, this I think will work. Let's give that a shot because it's more toward the south. This is the Rho Ophiuchi Nebula, right above Antares, the eye of the Scorpion. And we will be able to see that. Rho Ophiuchi are these two stars. And there is a beautiful dust cloud around this region, which is quite phenomenal. So I'm going to drop down to 25% so we can see it all. You can even see a hint of it right now. Okay. All right. So let's wait for our guide star. I'm going to actually drop us down a little bit because I know how this looks. There we go. Okay, we're searching. I'm going to go. This one will be a 25-second shot. Again, at a gain of 250. We're guiding now, so we're going to come out of low light mode, go into deep sky mode, and begin stacking. There's our blaze star from the other exposure. T-core bore. This is going to be Rho Ophiuchi. Yeah, sorry about that. That's got to go. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Oh, it's way up high. Okay. We have definitely a higher threshold on this one. I did notice that there were higher thresholds on the items further south like this. So, but when they do come in as round stars. See? Interesting. So let's go to our histogram. Color correct for one thing. And then let's do a carefully metered. Look at the cloud. See, it's already forming. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This is the Rho Ophiuchi Nebula. This whole region is full of dust. It's absolutely astonishing. And this is a preview of summer to come, guys, because we're actually looking at the heart of we're looking more toward the center of our galaxy when we look in this direction. So we'll do this like this. Ray, I didn't put the horizon for Stellarium in here. You're correct. And I will. There's an animal outside. There we go. So we have 3, 4 that have been accepted. And look at this. It's looking beautiful. We're starting to see detail in here already. That's nice. Let's start darkening it up, increasing the contrast of the Rho Ophiuchi complex. This is all, this is dust in here, and you'll see some red as well. Let me color correct too, because the color correction helps bring out some of this nebula. Okay. And you can see now what's happening here, this beautiful dust cloud. The starlight is scattering the blue component of the star's spectrum, and that's why it looks blue. And then, as it does so, there's also dark nebula in here, dark dust. That dark dust is composed of carbon molecules, silicon molecules, and all manner of ices on the dust particles. And effectively, those are the building blocks of life and the building blocks of planets. I can't see Albireo right now, which is my favorite double star ray. So we've got 7 stacked right now, and you'll notice it's looking really good. I'm going to pull this out a little more. So that's the full frame. Why don't we do this? Actually, I'll leave that. What I'll do is I'm going to push this all over. Okay, so we can actually dig in and look at this as big as we can kind of get it. Then we can just drag it around. See that? That's pretty cool. That's not bad. I think maybe I'm just going to bring this down too. Wow, look at that. Really nice. Okay, we've got 9 stacked now. Going on 10. There we are, 10. So the raw files you can download for free, but if you really want the highly processed ones that we do professionally, then you can join our Patreon and get access to them. And this is something that I think is a very interesting thing to do, because you can also go out to the dark room. It's a professional site that makes photos on metal, on canvas, under glass, framed, and all of our photos are available on the dark room as well. So that's neat. That's neat. Okay. You can see the details starting to show up here. I'm going to bring up our stack for a minute and let's see where it wants to go. Yeah, it's going to push process. Yeah, as you can see, it does that. You get a little more detail. That round halo around the star, that's an artifact of the system. We get rid of those. Wow. That's nice. Again, this star system is called Rho Ophiuchi, and it has these dust clouds around it, which are really pretty. So the Rho Ophiuchi nebula, this cloudy nebula, is about 520 to 550 light years away. So you're seeing it as it was 500 years ago. which I think is interesting. So what's interesting is this star right here is about 400 light years away. And this cloud is another 100 light years distant from that, which is very fascinating because the star's light is causing scattering to take is being scattered by the dust particles that are in this dust cloud, making the dust cloud look blue for the same reason our sky is blue. Very nice. Now you can see this dark cloud in here. And we've got 16 images stacked here now. Let's bring back our stack control panel. Let's color correct one more time. That's pretty cool. Okay, I brought that down to kind of try to help out getting some of the data here. We can really push. This is a push when you bring these lines close to each other. And you can see a lot more detail what's in here. But it adds to the noise a little bit. But you'll see that there's wispy structure out here. And that's something we can draw out. So we're going to save this here. And we'll save it exactly as seen. And let's let it go where it wants to go. Wow. Okay. Let a few more come in. And again, thank you for telling me about the music. I'm really disappointed I'm not hearing it. But that explains why I couldn't get it to come through the headphones or anything. Yeah. Oh well. It's showing that it's going out, which is weird. It's going over the broadcast channel. Wonder what that's all about. Okay. We'll be done here. Now we're done with this. And I will go to our low light mode again. And I did want to tell you, this was the last object for tonight. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really did. I thought it was really cool that we got a chance to hang out together. Push this back over, bring up my, there we are, bring up the telescope. So I hope you guys had a good time. And I'm going to enjoy a good night's rest after 4.5 hours driving from Palm Springs to Phoenix. Well, Fantasy, thank you. I just don't like dead air, you know. I like having some music. So even though I see it going out, I'm curious as to why it's not really coming across. It kind of bothers me because I expected it to. Okay, well, anyway, that is what it is. And that's what it shall be. So, folks, I hope you had a good time. I'm going to hit the hay. I'm going to put away the telescope. I can show you that though here. So I'll bring this up. You can see our spider web out there. Okay, so now I'm going to park the telescope. All right, and we'll say yes, park the telescope. And the telescope's going into its parked position. Just like that. Okay. Very good. Telescope is parked. Glad you guys had a good time. I sure did. And now what I'll do is turn off the telescope. There we go. That disconnects power to the telescope, to the camera, and to the thermoelectric cooler on the camera. And now I can disconnect the telescope. But first I'm going to close the roof. It's funny, but out in California, when I opened and closed the roof, people are like, wow, that's incredible. Wait until you see what it shows you. That's the incredible part. But it is kind of cool when you do this from a long distance. It feels weird to be able to control a building intricately from long distance. All right. So you guys have a good night, and I will see you on the flip-flop. All right. So thank you for coming to Sky to a live stream tonight on our first stream since Contact in the Desert. And I look forward to talking to you again. And I shall see you, well, I go home tomorrow night, maybe the night after, okay? And make sure if you can, could you possibly just subscribe if you haven't? And hit the bell to get notifications when we stream. I'm not even in my studio, so you're not getting the full performance, right? But still, that's kind of cool. Anyway, you guys have a good night. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.